hernias are a cock block. It blocked my cock many a times. There's just something unnerving about dropping trow, and now she's faced with this Franken lump, and she's like, what kind of STD is that? And you're like, it's not an STD, it's a hernia. And by the time you can even say hernia, her is gone. Okay?
It's Black Hoody, I'm back cooking these goodies. Look at these views from cooking these foods. Yeah, fuck with me.
Hello there.
It's been a while.
What do they call this part of the body? Oh yeah, back. They call that back. I'm back, baby.
You could call me Back Miller. All right, what is goody hoodies? Back for my triumphant return with the truth, a religion, undenied in the fried chicken fast food game, something we have not done in mukbang form on this channel as of yet. Been waiting for this for time. Finally manned up, finally did it. And what am I talking about? We are going to get it popping with Popeyes. All right, so what do we got? Large coleslaw. Popeyes coleslaw, hands down, the truth, the best coleslaw ever. I need to recreate it in one of my videos for sure. Mashed potatoes, absolute must, quintessential, gotta have them. Can't be a Popeyes meal without them. My two favorite sauces, sweet heat, black and ranch. Doubled up on the black and ranch because it is that important to my chicken. But you'll see as we cross that road. Of course, we got the Louisiana hot sauce, and then ketchup for those Cajun fries. Now, let's move this out of the way right quick. Just so you can see how authentic I am in this, I gotta say a quick thank you just to everybody for believing in me, keeping the faith alive, still hitting that subscribe button. You guys know I was taking that little time off. I needed it. It's been very beneficial for me. I'm back in the money. I'm back with jobs. Lost a bunch of weight. Looking better, feeling better. But today I was like, Friday, fried chicken. So yes, sir. Please and thank you, ma'am. Let me get some Southern style fried chicken and some sides and tell you guys a little story. I could give you a backdrop about what my life's been like and we'll get to that later. Today, I want to hit you up with a story time and some delicious food. So let's get into it. And bam, there we go. Just kind of wanted to do a little pre-setup. Just wanted to be as time effective as possible. A man's only got so many minutes to record on his phone, and I've already taken a few minutes of that up. So set this up. We got the Cajun fries, a little ketchup pool, 4-piece chicken. Got that biscuit, of course. Mashed potatoes, as I said, and the coleslaw. Large coleslaw, because like I said, my favorite. I'll probably save half for later. Got our sauces on deck, pre-ready, already opened. Because guys, pro tip, life hack, once your fingers get greasy, you will never be able to open this pack with your fingers. So have it ready. Be ready. Stay ready. One other note. Actually, let's just have a bite of stuff. And I'm going to get straight to the goods. And then I'll tell you some stuff. One thing, and then the story. I immediately always go for my favorite piece, which is the breast, that white meat. Strictly for the fact because I want to enjoy the best parts first because I know I'm going to get full. Peep that. So what I do is I crossbreed black and ranch, then the sweet chili heat. Wrong pipe. Outtakes. Popeyes, you're trying to kill me. Come on, man. I haven't had you in so long. First thing you try to do is take me out. Get real. So yeah, I love that cross blend because the ranch negates the heat of the sweet heat, because the sweet heat is actually pretty spicy. So that ranch, that creaminess, kind of tones it down a bit. And it's beautiful. And I'm still shaky. Okay. First thing to say is this all cost me $26.50, $30 with tip. Can you believe that? That's the thing about Popeyes. It's a little bit of highway robbery, but every once in a while, a man's got to do what a man's got to do, right? You guys know. Also, Popeyes just has like the best coating. Like, do you hear that? Crunch factor is out of control. So tender, so crunchy. So I just had to meet the delivery man's downstairs because my security guard was being a bitch and wouldn't let him up. I'm like, come on, dude. Food delivery guy. He's dressed in Popeye's outfit. What do you think he's going to do? Strap this shit up 9/11 style and fucking kill my whole building? Don't think so. Too soon? Anyways. Met him downstairs. Good dude, nice dude, chill guy. In our 1 minute interaction where I handed him money, but seemed like a nice guy. In the elevator was a lingering perfume scent. And you guys know, and please, all the girls out there, don't get offended. I'm not slut shaming. You can be a slut if you want. Sluts are kind of cool. There was just this lingering scent of, I'm going to get fucked tonight. Do you know that perfume? You could walk into an elevator or a room and you could smell who's been there, and you could say, I'm going to a dinner party. I'm going to slurp back some oysters, have a glass of Chardonnay, and I'm going to have a thing on that I go like that with, you know, at the end of the night, a little sachet. And then there's a perfume that says, slut in a bottle, you know? It's just slut in a bottle. There's class and slut in a bottle. And I definitely was smelling slut in a bottle. It's Friday night. She's feeling herself. She's going to go out and get it. She's not slurping oysters. She's probably slurping some dick. But it's really none of my business. I just thought I had to tell you guys. This coleslaw is so good. It's the perfect sweetness and the crunch. Crunchy, so crunchy. These potatoes and gravy, obviously, crack cocaine. So smooth, with a light lump. Speaking of lump, that's what Story's gonna have in it, a lump. Just so rich. Okay, onward and upward to the story. Classic eye wipe, because I'm sweating. All right. It's going to tell you about the time, a story surrounding and a story of my hernia. A little bit of education for you. If you don't know what a hernia is, there's multiple kinds. The one that I had was intestinal. So what that is when the little membrane that keeps your intestines in your body before the skin, if that gets a tear in it from lifting something too heavy or whatever, what happens is your intestines want to push out. They push out through that hole. And then you get a lump. And the lump will continue to grow. That membrane will continue to rip. And it's potentially fatal. and you have to get it treated. You have to get operated on. So I got one when I was like 20, 21, just before I moved to Toronto. And my dad was like, oh, no big deal, just live with it for a while, and if it gets really bad, you get the operation. Typical my dad. Why not just get it fixed right away? I don't know, but I was like, okay. Because it wasn't really all that bad. Anyways, moved away from home. As I'm living away from home, it gets worse. To the point where I took a trip home in the summer, showed my dad, he's like, okay, yeah, we gotta get that fixed. It's like, yeah, I don't want to die. He's like, son, I don't want you to die either. So here's the money. Because it's fairly expensive to get it fixed. Because you have to go to a specialty clinic to get it done. So luckily enough, in Toronto, north of Toronto, is like the best, arguably the best clinic to get it done. It's a specialty clinic. That's all they do is hernia surgeries. Now here's a little tip of advice to anybody out there that gets one, guy, girl, those predominantly men, about like 90% of guys, I believe, are guys that get it. Get it fixed immediately, ASAP. Do not let it ride. Why? You might think because health reasons. Not true. Hernias are a cock block. It blocked my cock many a times. There's just something unnerving about dropping trow, and now she's faced with this Franken lump, and she's like, what kind of STD is that? And you're like, it's not an STD, it's a hernia. And by the time you can even say hernia, her is gone. Okay? So if you want to continue your sex life in a normal fashion, we're still getting it, and you're not self-conscious about it, get that shit fixed, because it will fuck you over. It will ruin a summer of yours. I promise. I promise that. All right, now that that's handled, that part of the story, let's move into the next thing. So, coleslaw, so good. Who would think that the vegetable part of it would be my favorite? Always. So I booked the appointment. It's at the specialty clinic. It's like a 3 or 4 day retreat, surgery retreat. Because you got to get checked in, they got to check you out, and then you have to stay for recovery time. They have to observe you, make sure you're all good, and they can send you home. So I head there, I roll up. It's very nursing home. Super 70s style too. Exterior and interior. But yeah, it's like very 70s, very retro. Roll up, get settled in, get my room. You always have to share your room. You have a bedmate, 2 people per room. Checking out the area, there's like this lounge where you can like do crosswords, play backgammon, watch TV, read the old paperback novels, play some backgammon, whatever the fuck, all that shit. There's a yard in the back. You can take a big long stroll. There's a little putting range. You can just go putting if you want. Cafeteria, all that shit. Very geared towards geriatric people over like 60, maybe 50 and later, because that's generally who gets hernias. Old dudes. Okay, let's go for this wing. So I'm checked into Old Dudeville, and Just vibing around, checking out the scene. Meet my roommate guy. He's like 60 something. He was super cool though. We had sick chats. His name was like Ernie or something. So crispy. So he's cool, all good. We're friends. Long story short, I go down to my first dinner offering at this place down in the cafeteria. Go down, scoping the scene. A sea of old men, but there's an anomaly in the crowd. And I'm like, okay, what is this? Let me have a look, see. It's a girl. There's a girl here. She's attractive, like quite attractive. I'm like 24. I'm like, all right, I can work with this. Let's see what this is. Let's see why she's here. So I kind of just make my way over to the table she's at. She's already with some oldies. Just kind of like scoot in beside. Just kind of took the opportunity. I was like, there's a tip of advice that heads up to guys or whoever out there. You have a certain window of time that you have to act in. If you see an opportunity like that, you have to act. If you let it ride, if you kind of beat around the bush and play the wall, it's not going to turn out good. It'll just end up being awkward. You might never make your move, so just get the fuck in there. So I got in there. I'm like, you're young. I'm young. What's up? This is weird. This whole thing. And she's like, I'm like, why are you here? And she's like, well, I have a hernia. I have to get operated on. I'm like, really? That happens to you too. She's like, yeah, it's weird. It's not really common, but I got one. I was like, cool, me too. So in this moment, what dawns on me is this is like divine intervention. This is like, I've been afraid to get with a girl for a while now because of my lump. And now she has a lump. And like, we could bump lumps. We could totally bump lumps. And it just seemed like the universe just coming together in some divine fashion. It was like, I'm sure she's been having a problem with her sex life. You've been having a problem with your sex life. You're both probably been very self-conscious of it. Now you can just undress together, be in the buff, and just be like, that's a very nice lump you have. Yours is nice too. Hopefully they're gone soon. So I'm like, sick. I'm like, I gotta get in this girl's good books. I gotta be funny, I gotta be chatty, I gotta be flirty. Now, I'm staying there for a few days, but there's like a 2-day, there's people on day 1 who operate and day 2 who operate, and then there's 2 days of recovery, I think it was. And I was like, there's, again, another window of time you have to operate in, because we have to bump lump. We can't bump stitches. We can't bump post-surgery. We have to bump pre-surgery. So I have to act quick. So I'm making sure I'm getting time with her. I'm like seeing her around the hallway, and then we're chilling a bit, and like, things are getting flirty. We're definitely vibing. We have a connection for sure. She got operated on in the first round. I was left lumpy for another day. I was like, fuck. So I'm like, fuck, didn't seal, can't seal now, because like, once we're both stitched out, it's just like, you're just in a world of hurt. It's just like, you got stitches, you got blood, you got staples, you got pain, you're drugged up on medication. No good, right? So let's put that on the back burner for a bit, and let's get to the part of just a really fucked aspect of this whole surgery thing. On my day comes, and I get taken down to like the waiting area where you take your drugs and wait to go in for surgery. But it's crazy. They bring you down, and you literally look like you're walking into like a mortuary or like just into a morgue. It's dead ass dark, but the only light that's lighting up the room that you're in is the light coming from the OR, from the operating room, and you can see the guy on the table getting operated on. So you can see all this shit happening. And then outside in the staging area, they have 8 bodies, 8 beds across from each other, all like Orphan Annie style home, like Madeline or whatever, like all these beds. And they lay you down in this dark room and they give you a handful of drugs and they're like, take that and you're going to get fucked up and then you're eventually going to get surgery. And so you're just laying there with all these like zombified human beings awaiting to get cut open. So I take my drugs. Laying there. I'm like, these drugs ain't doing shit, dude. Like, I'd feel fine. That was until I had to take a pee. Got up to hit the bathroom. Could barely get there. I was fucked. I was zanned out beyond belief. I had to like hold myself along this wall and like lean to get a pee. Barely got back to my bed, got on my bed. At that point, I think I passed out. Next thing I know, I'm on the operating table. Just like in the movies, when somebody's like in trauma and they're kind of oozy and dizzy, and you like see the lights are all blurry. I'm there, all these doctors around me. I'm kind of fucked. They just give you a local anesthetic. They don't put you completely out. They just give you this handful of drugs, and then they give you a local anesthetic around where it is to where they're going to cut into you. And they just put a little cloth over your dick, and you're completely naked. And then, so they go in, and I'm like, guys, just please put me out. Like, I don't want to be awake for this. Or like aware to any degree. So they started operating, and I can't feel any cutting or anything, but once they're in there and they're like pulling and stitching and like you can feel tugging and stuff, and I was just like, guys, I could feel way too much right now. So they kept giving me this little drip, but they would just give me a little bit, and every time they'd give me a drip, I would just out into like it was different than dreaming. I was in like another universe. I was in another realm. I was like conscious, aware, but it felt like I was on like a DMT trip, even though I've never been on one, but how they describe it, like I felt like I was just in another dimension in this weird experience. And then I would come back and I would be like, oh, I can feel it again. And then they give me a drip and I go back out. Obviously, next thing I know, I wake up, I'm in my room in bed. Next time I come to, surgery's done, got my staple stitches, all that shit. I'm in pain. My dad and uncle were there. My dad came into town to see me through the surgery or after the surgery and hang out for like a couple days. They say I was just being really, really strange, like the shit I was talking about, because it's like, you know those videos of like David goes to the dentist or whatever? That's like essentially what I was like, just like all morphed out and like being weird. Anyways, I'm in there for a few days of recovery. Me and that girl, Alana was her name, by the way. We're still buddying and chumming it up and that. So we exchanged numbers, go our separate ways. For a few weeks, we were like flirting, talking, sending pictures of each other's like scars and shit. Just being like, how's yours healing? How's yours healing? And then I might have got a little something extra too on the picture profile as well. But she said we should get together, but I just never acted on it. She lived a little bit of ways out of Toronto, and I was just like, at that point, I was just like, fuck it. I didn't have the patience for it. At the time, I was just like, if it didn't happen in the lump stage, pre-surgery, then it wasn't divine and it wasn't meant to be. So I didn't want to force the issue. And I was lazy about it. That's basically the end of the story. I do kick myself in the ass to this day. I wish I was more aggressive with it. I wish I actually closed that deal, but I didn't. Oh well, that's life. Also, just a heads up, if you're getting hernia surgery at all, they say it takes a week to like be back on your feet and healed and everything and you're all good. Not true. That's a fucking lie. My shit took forever to fucking heal. I was in pain for at least a few weeks. Took like a good month until I was like ready to do anything that dope with my body. Also, in the place where you get your surgery, you will not have feeling there for probably 4 years. And it's weird. It kind of hurts, but it's kind of like nothing. It's like you can't feel anything, but it kind of hurts. Very strange. Anyways, I'm about to run out of time on this camera. Thanks for being with me. Hope you enjoyed this video, story, food. You guys know I never finish. I don't give a fuck. I'm on a diet. I can't even eat that much anymore. My stomach is like very small these days. Until the next one, I love y'all. Stay riding with me. Peace, peace, peace. Eat good. Live well. Stay true.